Reuben returns to the well. A little later, Reuben returned to the well pit. Finding that Joseph was no longer there, he rushed back to his brothers, who had gone back to their flocks, and excitedly informed them that Joseph was missing. "He must have escaped," some of them said, all pretending to be concerned. Reuben was so disturbed that he tore his clothing in distress. His brothers dared not tell him what had really happened, fearing he might reveal the truth to their father. Knowing they would have to provide some explanation to Jacob, they took Joseph's coat and smeared it with the blood of a goat they killed. A few days later, when they returned home, they acted very sad. "Is this Joseph's coat?" asked one of the sons, holding out the blood-stained garment. "It is," exclaimed Jacob, staring fearfully at it. "I had it made for him." "Where did you find it?" "We found it out in the desert," was the reply. "I didn't know about that," Reuben spoke up. "We kept it from you because we didn't want you to worry," was the explanation to Reuben. Some of the Midianite slave traders got off their camels, walked to the well, and peered down at Joseph. "My son must have been killed by some wild beast," Jacob moaned. He was so sad at the thought of losing his favorite son that he was close to illness for many days. His sons tried to comfort him during that time. Jacob would have been better off to have known the truth, but his sons were fearful of his anger. Joseph reaches Egypt. While Jacob mourned what he believed to be his son's death, Joseph was taken down to Egypt by the Midianite traders. In a slave market, he was put up for sale to the highest bidder. Potiphar, the captain of the guard for the king of Egypt, a powerful and important man, bought Joseph, Genesis 37, verse 36. Potiphar assigned Joseph various tasks in his household. It didn't take long for Potiphar to notice that this new servant was more capable and trustworthy than the others. Joseph's adherence to God's laws made him honest, energetic, and eager to do his best. Recognizing these qualities, Potiphar soon put Joseph in charge of all his household servants. Just as God's blessing had been on Laban's household because of Jacob's service to God, now Potiphar's household was blessed because of Joseph's obedience to his Creator. Joseph's trials in Egypt. Unbeknownst to him, Joseph was beginning to play a role in God's plan that would affect the world for thousands of years. He became a servant in the household of Potiphar, an Egyptian officer of Pharaoh and the captain of the guard. Joseph quickly rose to a position of trust and responsibility due to his diligence, integrity, and the favor of God. As Potiphar's servant, Joseph was entrusted with the management of Potiphar's household and all his possessions. He oversaw the daily operations, ensuring everything ran smoothly and efficiently. His capable stewardship brought prosperity to Potiphar's household, reflecting Joseph's exceptional administrative skills and reliability. Everything went well until Potiphar's wife took a liking to Joseph as much as she did her husband. Joseph, knowing this was wrong, firmly told her so. Genesis 39, verses 7 and 8. Angered by his refusal, she grabbed Joseph's jacket as he was leaving the house. She then called for the other servants, showing them the jacket and falsely claiming that Joseph had insulted her, but fled when she cried out. Later, she repeated this lie to her husband. Later, she repeated this lie to her husband. Potiphar, furious, ordered soldiers to find Joseph and imprison him in the king's prison. Genesis 39, verses 12 to 20. As time passed, the prison warden noticed that Joseph was unusually obedient to the rules and intelligent in maintaining order. Genesis 39, verses 21 to 23. God caused Joseph to find favor with those in charge, and before long, he was second in authority under the head jailkeeper. However, despite his high position, Joseph still had to live in the dungeon. Joseph, a key biblical figure, endured significant struggles that exemplify how the Most High tests his chosen ones to prove their faith and obedience. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and later imprisoned on false charges, Joseph faced immense hardships. Despite these trials, he remained faithful to God's commandments, demonstrating resilience and integrity. These experiences shaped him into a wise and compassionate leader, ultimately rising to become Egypt's second in command. This journey reflects the truth in Proverbs 20:24, highlighting that while man's path is directed by the Lord, understanding his divine plan often transcends human comprehension. Through trials and temptations, God refines and prepares his chosen ones for their destined roles, as echoed in Ecclesiasticus 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Moreover, Revelation 21:8 warns that the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, emphasizing that Christ, the Alpha and Omega, will not accept cowardice and unfaithfulness among his people in the kingdom. Please subscribe for part 3 of the saga of Joseph, where Joseph successfully interpreted Pharaoh's troubling dreams.